What's up, Heat fans, and welcome into the Heat Report by Chat Sports. And we have another Damian Lillard update for you guys on tap with today's show. And we talk a little bit about Tyler Herro and where he could end up, because it seems that he will not be playing for the Miami Heat when it comes to October and this 2023 NBA seasons. But before we get into today's show, make sure you hit that sub button. You will not regret it. You will get up-to-date news and rumors on the entire Damian Lillard saga. So if you hit that sub button, you will be informed and be the most up-to-date. We have had a lot of subscribers join the rocket ship lately. We're at 3,586 subscribers. Let's get that number up on the road to 4,000. So let's hit that sub button. Also, let's share the video, because with you guys coming in more and more, I want more Heat fans and more NBA fans to join the channel and see what we're all about here. So if you want to share this video and help us grow, that'd be greatly appreciated. Just click that share button, hit that Twitter icon, click post to Twitter, tag me at Nic_Rohloff on Twitter. And if you do so, you will get a shout out on the next show. And while you're there, you might as well follow me, because I'm talking everything NBA and the Miami Heat. But let's get into the latest on Damian Lillard. And Brian Windhorst said this morning on the Hoop Collective podcast. Will the Blazers make the deal that Dame wants them to make, or will the Blazers make the deal they want to make? Or, and my guess, somewhere in the zone, it will be in the middle. It won't be the ideal deal for the Blazers, but Dame will probably end up in Miami. Not 100%, but I would guess probably when the dust settles. And this is my thing. I've been saying this for the past couple videos. Damian Lillard will be traded to the Miami Heat. He wants to play there, and I think he's scaring off other teams. We know teams have been interested, like the Utah Jazz, the Brooklyn Nets, the Clippers, and hell, even the Celtics apparently reached out as well. But if Damian Lillard wants to play for the Miami Heat, I know he doesn't have a full no-trade clause, but I think he will end up playing for the Heat, and he has a lot more leverage in this situation than people realize. There is a lot to Damian Lillard that would leave other teams that aren't the Miami Heat a little bothered by. And here's a little breakdown of Damian Lillard, very little, but he's got a massive contract that we'll show here in a second. He's 6'2" and 33 years old. Not a lot of point guards at that size and age are effective late in their career. So why would a team that isn't trying to win a championship in the next 2 to 3 years make a deal for Damian Lillard? And that kind of goes to my other point. He only wants to win. So that immediately, to me, throws out the possibility of the Utah Jazz, the San Antonio Spurs, even the Brooklyn Nets, because their timetables aren't Damian Lillard away from being an NBA title contender. You know who is? The Miami Heat and maybe the Boston Celtics, but Dame came out a month ago and said that he will never play for the Boston Celtics. I don't know what he has against Boston, but as a Heat fan, I personally love it. Here is Damian Lillard's contract, and it's pretty nasty if we're just going to be honest. This upcoming season, he's due $45.6 million, and then the next year after that, $48.7 million, and then in 2025-26, it takes a massive jump up to $58.5 million, and then in that final year, 26-27, where he will be 37, 38 years old, he will be getting paid $63 million. That is a lot of cheddar, and this will scare teams away. Like I just mentioned, if you're not the Miami Heat or Boston Celtics, or really the Clippers, but they've got Paul George and Kawhi to worry about as well, why would you trade for this contract if you're not ready to win? And I'll reiterate it. The Spurs, the Jazz will not be trading for Damian Lillard, no matter what the reports from Woj and other people might suggest. Those reports are coming from the Blazers front office to try to drive up the Miami Heat trade package. He is not going to go to a team that isn't ready to win and is still in that rebuilding middle stage of their rebuild. And even though Damian Lillard doesn't have a no-trade clause, if he tells a team, I don't want to play for you, they're not going to send all their young assets for someone on this contract. Now, Mark Stein did say this as well this morning, and I thought this was very interesting, and I wanted to share. We saw Toronto trade for Kawhi with the belief he had zero interest in going there. If that scenario happened, how hard would it be for Team X to try to talk Dame into it? Do you think that Dame is so set on Miami that there's no wait? Chris Haynes jumps in because they're doing a podcast together, and this is what Chris Haynes says. He cuts off Mark Stein in the middle of his little question and says, Miami, Stein, Miami. Damian Lillard only wants to play for the Miami Heat. He's made that very, very obvious, and that's going to scare teams away. I hate to say that again, but it is. If he is so dead set on being a Heatle, playing with Jimmy and Bam, why are teams going to offer their farm to get a player that doesn't want to play for them? It doesn't make any sense, and it shouldn't make any sense. That's why Damian Lillard will not be traded to anyone other than the Miami Heat. I did want to ask you guys this question, though, before we moved on to the latest on Tyler Herro. When will Damian Lillard be traded? If you think it's going to be this week, type 1. Will it be next week? Type 2. If you think it's in the distant future and not in the next 2 weeks, type your 3s down in the comments section. Before we move on to Tyler Herro, Shams Charania just came out with a new report, and he reported that the Heat are still the favorites for Damian Lillard. This makes all the sense in the world. I've reiterated it in this show and in the past couple days that it is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when Damian Lillard will be a Heatle. It just makes too much sense. There's too much smoke. Chris Haynes, Shams, they're the two closest guys to Damian Lillard, and he is going to be a Miami Heat basketball player in the near future. But let's talk about Tyler Herro. What is his latest? He is expected to be traded in this deal. It's going to be a 3-team deal in all likelihood, but where will he end up going? Now, I've talked in the past about it potentially being the Spurs or the Nets, and there is a lot of smoke surrounding the Brooklyn Nets in this situation, and I think it would actually fit pretty well for Tyler to go to Brooklyn. Here's what Ian Begley had to say on the situation. It's unclear which Nets players were discussed as part of a 3-team trade and if Brooklyn had any other stipulations for completing a deal. But as of Saturday evening, the Nets were at least open to the idea of a trade that landed Tyler Herro in Brooklyn. And he didn't stop there. This morning on WFAN, he said this: Nets want to be compensated if they are taking on Tyler Herro. And I'll say this. I think the Nets end up facilitating this trade as the third team to acquire Tyler Herro, but let's not act like Herro is some negative asset in the NBA. And quite frankly, it is a joke that the Nets would want to be compensated more than just getting Tyler Herro. Maybe they would like to get off a contract like Spencer Dinwiddie, like Ben Simmons, or even Dorian Finney-Smith. But let's stop acting like Tyler Herro is a negative asset in the association. Sure, he has a pretty large contract where he's going to get paid $30 million over the next 4 seasons, but look at what he's done since entering the league in 2019. As a rookie, 13.5 points per game, 42.8% from the field, and an immediate 3-point asset where he shot 38.9% from 3. And then in his second year, he took another step. 15 points per game, 5 rebounds. The efficiency took a little dip from 3, but shot better overall from the field. And then in 2021, when he won the 6th Man of the Year award, he averaged 20.7 points per game with 5 rebounds and 4 assists while shooting 40% from 3 and essentially 45% from the field. And then this year, his numbers went down by 0.6 points per game, but he was inserted into that starting lineup for the first time in his career as a full-time starter and played decent. Nothing too out of the ordinary, kind of kept it status quo for Tyler, but I don't think that he is a negative asset. This is a 23-year-old basketball player that has been very good in his first 4 years in the league. He's been effective. He's contributed to a winning culture and a winning basketball team. Is he a plus defender? No. But is he someone that can average 20 points per game and lead your offense? Absolutely. And if you add him to that Brooklyn Nets roster, even if you say you get rid of Spencer Dinwiddie, and your core is Tyler Herro, Cam Johnson, Nic Claxton, and Mikal Bridges, that is a fun team, man. And that is a team that has a really balanced squad. You've got Herro's playmaking and shot creation and the perimeter. You got Mikal Bridges doing his thing where he can shot create and score from the perimeter as well, alongside being one of the plus defenders in the league. And then you've got the shooter that is Cam Johnson at the 3. It is a perfect mix for those 3. And then you add Nic Claxton, who was a potential decoy candidate throughout the first half of that NBA season this past year. It is a really good core, and I don't think the Nets should be expecting to get a pick alongside Herro. You should be happy that you're getting in this deal and getting Tyler Herro. Sure, if they get Yusuf Nurkic because the Blazers want to move off from his contract, sure, I guess I could see the Nets wanting a pick alongside that. But if they are only getting Tyler Herro, yes, he's getting paid $30 million over the next 4 years. But why would you expect to get a first-round pick or even a damn second-round pick while you're acquiring a 23-year-old who can score 20 a game, and he's been injured a little bit, but he's been proven to be able to play 54-plus games throughout his NBA career. I get he's had his playoff struggles as well, but Tyler Herro is not a negative asset, and the Nets should stop acting like he is one and just be happy they're able to grab a 20-point-per-game scorer and add him to their roster. But I'll ask you guys this. Do you guys think Tyler Herro is good? Type G for good, type N for not good. Let me down in the comment section. He is certainly a good basketball player. As much as I sometimes get on him for his defense and his shot inefficiency because of his volume, he is a good basketball player. He's only 23, and he will only continue to get better. We've talked about Brooklyn for Tyler, but I still think the Spurs make a lot of sense and the most sense. Obviously, Brooklyn has all the smoke around them, and it seems the most likely, probably 80-20, that it would be the Nets hopping in as that third team in this deal to acquire Herro rather than the Spurs. But the Spurs make too much sense. Think about it. You've got Keldon Johnson, someone who Tyler Herro played with at college, and then you've got Victor Wembanyama, Jeremy Sohan, but they lack scoring from the perimeter. You've got the wings in Keldon Johnson, Sohan. You've got the number 1 overall pick, the Gen Z Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, as Kevin O'Connor would call him, in Wembanyama. You know what you do need? Scoring and outside shooting from the perimeter. Herro would add that for the Spurs. The pick and roll between Herro and Wembanyama would be very, very dangerous, and a starting lineup potential of Trey Jones, Herro, Sohan, and Keldon Johnson with Wembanyama is something where the Spurs have a lot of young talent, and they could build and mold together potentially to get them as a team that can win in the future. Even though Brooklyn seems like the favorites to land Tyler Herro, the Spurs make the most sense to me. They have $25 million in cap space still. I don't know why the Spurs wouldn't jump in on this and grab Tyler Herro. But I do want to mention this before we hop out of here. The Heat Summer League do start today, and they actually play the Los Angeles Lakers at 6 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. It is not the official Summer League, but it is the California Classic. I don't know if you guys can see and read these names on this list, but the Heat have a loaded roster. They have Bouye, who they actually signed to a two-way deal. They have Jamal Cain, who was with the Heat this past season, Caleb Daniels, the undrafted free agent out of Villanova. They have their 18th overall selection, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Nikola Jovic, who I am very excited to watch tonight, the first-round pick from last year. They also have Orlando Robinson, who they actually just signed to a standard contract, so he is going to be on the Heat roster next year, and he is going to be your third big for the Miami Heat. He'll back up Thomas Bryant, who's backing up Bam Adebayo. But I'm excited to watch tonight, and hopefully you guys are as well. But I wanted to keep you guys updated on the Heat Summer League roster. Follow me on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff. I'll probably be talking about the Summer League highlights and what Nikola Jovic and Jaime Jaquez did in the first game as we see them in the Heat uniforms for the first time this offseason. So I'm pretty excited for that. Follow me on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff. You'll be updated on everything Miami Heat before even the video, because I'll probably tweet about it and react to the news before I hop on and film a video for you guys. So make sure you guys go down and give me a follow.